Hi guys, welcome to the Silver Report. Today is Wednesday, February 1st, 2017. Gold is currently trading at $1,207.10. Silver is trading at $17.52. We have some moves going on, and let's get into some of the economic news. We have the head of Washington's new National Trade Council. He announced yesterday, it's Peter Navarro. He called the single euro currency. This is Trump's new man. He called the single euro currency an implicit Deutschmark that is grossly undervalued, unquote. He said it enables the German structural imbalances in trade with the rest of the EU and the US. And we do see that there is an imbalance in trade between the rest of the EU and Germany. Germany is their economic powerhouse. It is their creditor. But it's interesting when you have Washington officials coming out and saying this. And in good news, he's addressing the fact that the single euro currency, that there is a disparity between countries and they cannot be united by one single currency. And the EU, the euro, is a problem as a currency. It's already suffering some problems and woes with all the turmoil that's going on in the European Union between the nation states. In other news, the dollar sank yesterday on this news, so it is also causing the dollar to drop. A big reason for the rise in the price of silver, the spike in the price we saw, London's wholesale market saw the metal shoot up and outperform gold to the tune of $17.50 yesterday. After this news. So this is what we were talking about, these black swans, at a number of things that could be said. Our president's Twitter account, just the volatility of it. While I agree it's nice to have a president speak directly with his public because the news is failing, but just the way the news reinterprets it, and they're spin doctors. And they get people all in a frenzy. But this time it's to the tune that is good. Silver has now gained 9% from the beginning of the New Year's, 2017. So we're up 9%. We're having a great year so far, adding almost another $2 an ounce. The volume traded of silver in the London bullion market by the clearing members has only been larger twice in the last 18 years. The sharp spike April 2006, then in May 2011. Silver trading volume jumped by 38% compared to only 9% rise in gold volumes. Gold refined into small kilo bars from Switzerland directly to the largest gold market, China, jumped to largest levels since 2014. Fundamentally, growth in industrial demand for silver should outpace global GDP growth industry next year. So we are looking at some sharp rises coming up for 2017. The Fed, we see, is backing off now from their raising interest rates because they know it's impossible. They know now that the Obama boom propaganda cycle is winding down to a whisper. They know what they're doing, and more importantly, it's going to crash the economy. They already saw what their announcements were saying. We don't have money to pay back this debt. The real numbers don't support it. A GDP with 1.6% growth is a stalled America. We have slipped into a continuous recession. We have never recovered. Vast amounts of wealth were lost during the crash of 2008, and we have been in a continuous recession. We have not rebounded. We are not making money back. We borrowed oceans of money into existence, and we're really not creating more. So we see the Fed is warning, coming out and making announcements. Janet Yellen saying, we're in for a nasty surprise, unquote, on inflation if the Fed does not raise interest rates. So they're warning us. We're heading into inflation as we speak. This has everything to do with these countries bleeding out their reserve currencies. mostly US dollars. We see Iran is dropping the US dollar, and this is from official state releases. And they're dropping US dollars for a new common foreign currency. And this is what we've been discussing, the danger of the petrodollar status of the world's reserve currency, the US dollar. This is the only place where it derives its value. And we saw what happened in Syria. The US through proxies went to war with Syria, and they lost. They made the statement, Bashar al-Assad must go, and he stands. Russia came in to back them up. He was not going to allow to see one more conquered country. We saw how Libya fell, the revolutions in Libya, where they killed their leader. They wanted a gold-backed currency and not to use the dollar. And we saw here this move on Syria, and Russia came in, and because the operations were covert, the amount of supplies that were necessary to combat a full-on country's army, a well-armed army, failed. And this was another nail in the coffin of the US dollar, because this is what gives the US dollar its strength, is military might, because countries have no choice but to use it. And so we see Iran backing off now. They're abandoning the use of the US dollar for a new common foreign currency. It's effective March 21st, 2017. The agency announcing this has advised them to use a currency with a high degree of stability. So what does that tell you about this fiat currency you're holding in your pocket? Worse than that, he said to use either China's currency or the currency used by the United Arab Emirates. I know you've seen reports recently how Sharia law has just allowed the use of gold as currency. A large amount of wealth in the world is derived from oil profits, and gold is a much more realistic use of money for these countries compared to the United States, which is printing money at will. It's backed by nothing, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. If you look at the global currencies, it's backed by nothing. I ran into somebody who thought it was backed by gold the other day, but when you look at currencies, for example, the value of silver is derived by the amount of ounces compared to the amount of demand. It's largely actually by the paper market. So we hear about paper market suppression, extra shares added in, which make the actual price lower than what the supply to demand ratio is. Now, in US currency, there is the supply, there is the use. If you increase the supply, if you can create paper shares, then, for example, if you have a pie, 1/20th of a pie, you have a pie that is going to be 1/20th of the total. If you cut those in half, if it drops by 50% value overnight, then all of a sudden you have 1/40th of a pie that you still hold. So it is just literally a unit, because you're born in America, you used a dollar your whole life. It's all you've ever seen or known, and you work for it, you spend it. And really, it's hard to understand until you take a step back and look at the world currencies, the way the world operates, because they all use different currencies. And it's because it's fiat, it's literally a faith system. It's literally just what people say it has value. And when somebody has control of the ability to create more, the people holding their pieces of pie begin to get hungry and to wonder why their piece is getting smaller. So it's not a favorable situation. And we see Iran here, who is a strong ally of Russia, is backing off from using the US dollar. We're going to see a waterfall from this taking place. Iran gets oil revenues in US dollars, $41 billion. Exchanging that volume for other currencies has significant risk for the US dollar's value, and increasing the volume of currency to hyperinflation. So we have Janet Yellen from their Federal Reserve saying that we need to keep our eyes open for inflation. In fact, he said, "We're in for a nasty surprise," the woman said. You are in for a nasty surprise. And now we have these announcements by the Iranian government that they are dropping the US dollar in their oil revenues. So the best way to hedge against inflation is to prepare to buy silver, put it away, to store your money in something. Inflation, when the value of the dollar decreases, inflation sets in, the value of metals rises in comparative to the US dollar. So you'll be able to preserve purchasing power when that pie gets smaller. The amount of silver that can be purchased, it just becomes more of those pieces. So it's the best way to be able to protect yourself through this time. We're going through some very difficult times, and we are going to be seeing other countries in the Middle East begin to move away from these currencies, or move away from the dollar in particular, because we see a weakening American influence around the world, and it's going to cause war. Like I said, most of these wars are spurred on by the dollar, and we don't even realize it, because making sure more investors are holding dollars keeps the value what it is. If everybody were to go and press sell on the US dollar all at once, we would have all of those shares or dollar bills come flying back to this country. And you will see what you thought was valuable. This is the reason you go in the grocery store, and what used to cost you $20 for a bag full of groceries, a couple bags of groceries, now it costs you $150 to leave the store with groceries for the week. So we're going to see this paper flying back to the country, and all of a sudden this fiat paper currency that is called the US dollar today will drop dramatically in its purchasing power. To be able to preserve this, it's good to take something and set it away for your family now. Buy gold, buy silver, buy storable foods, get fresh water if you live in the city. If you live out in the country or near streams, buy some water purification where you can filter a high volume. Always good to have a life straw nearby. But I thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe. There'll be more videos just like this. Like the videos, share, guys, get the word out. I really appreciate all of you guys stopping by and watching the videos. And thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me again. I told you we had something special coming up. So what we're gonna do, I just got a nice package in the mail. Got two brand new 2017 Canadian Maples. Man, I love these coins. What a beautiful coin that is. Oh, I guess you're wondering about the title of the video. That's right. This is Free Silver February, guys. And I figured since the channel's been doing so good and picking up so many subscribers, I thought it was time to give a little something back to my audience. So for every person who subscribed, all you have to do, guys, is comment on 3 different videos the message Free Silver February. And for everybody who types the message Free Silver February in 3 different videos, each 3 videos, you're entered in for a chance to win one of these brand new silver Canadian Maples. Brand new, never touched by human hands. Well, at least since they've been in my possession. Brand new spotless coins. And they're yours, guys. I'll pay shipping. So if you want to partake in the contest, all you gotta do is be subscribed. Type in Free Silver February. I'll make it even sweeter. Every 3 videos you post that comment in, you're entered in. So there's no limit. The only limit is the amount of videos, because it's got to be on 3 separate videos. Alright, and I'll make it even sweeter since the channel's been doing so well, guys. And if you're new to this channel, we talk a little bit about politics, a little bit about the current economic crisis we're facing that they're trying to ignore. It's kind of one of those fake news sites they've been warning you about. So this is what I'm going to do, guys, since it's been doing so good. If we surpass 1,000 subscribers, which I'm assuming we will, at the current rate, we'll blow past that before the end date February 27th, 2017, I'm gonna double it. So you get 2 ounces of silver, and even more than that, I'll throw in 5 mercury dimes. Absolutely free. I'll pay shipping, and we're gonna do the drawing live, guys. Good old-fashioned pull names out of a hat. You know what I mean. So here's your chance, guys. If you want to enter in, it's not that difficult for all my audience, all my faithful subscribers. Everyone who's subscribed, all you have to comment is free silver February, and you're in. All right, but thank you guys for joining me. This message is effective January 27th, 2017. Let the games begin.